Z mojego punktu widzenia, jako antropologa medycznego, szeptucha to tradycyjny podlaski uzdrowiciel ludowy. Osoba, której zadaniem jest w tej lokalnej społeczności z chorego zrobić zdrowego. Metodami typowymi dla tej kultury.
Magic of Podlasie. So this belief of healing power of shamans is really what is heavily featured in this piece, using these methods to heal the sick. And you have all these first person accounts of people encountering these healers and finding the healing that they were seeking. And it really touches on the dualism between the physical and invisible, the spiritual worlds, the physical world and the spiritual world, and how they're connected. And we learn about the role of the shaman within the community, how they relate to the shaman, also known as the whisperers, and how those that are dependent upon their existence find a sense of purpose in the belief of these whisperers, in the belief of these shamans, and in the belief of the healing from them. So it gave us a really complex, detailed view on what this means to not only definition-wise, but also what this means to community.
The magic of. I thought this was a really, really interesting film to watch. I really, really appreciated the kind of approach and the kind of point of view that they were giving, because you had a lot of interviews and, you know, explanation from the whisperers themselves and from, you know, some people that had seen the whisperers for various reasons. But then you also have this really, really fascinating point of view from this kind of, you know, anthropological view of, you know, what doctors are, what shaman are, what whisperers are, what it meant back in the day, how that translates into a more current time, what the difference between them is. And I thought that it was, like I said, such a great point of view to include. And for somebody that is in a completely different part of the world that doesn't have anything like that in my current culture, have never had experience with anything like that before, having somebody that can give a more kind of overview and a more kind of almost studious approach to explaining what these things are was so helpful, and it really helped me understand a lot better with having that point of view included, which I really appreciated, because like I said, I would have no other point of reference to absorb and really understand and learn what they were saying. And like I said, I thought that this film was really fascinating and really goes to show how, you know, different aspects of society and culture and all of those things kind of interact and intersect. And, you know, you have this other great kind of beauty of this kind of folk magic and, you know, healing through very non-traditional ways, married with this very religious belief, and how a lot of the times you would see those at odds with each other, and how this has a magical way of marrying the two together in a way that, like, nobody questions. They just accept it, and that's how it is, and that's what it is. Like, there's no conflict when, like I said, those kinds of ideas would, I think, most of the time naturally be in conflict with each other. So I thought, like, overall, I thought it was so fascinating from so many different points of view, or different, you know, points of interest, with looking at it from a societal standpoint and a cultural standpoint of the importance of these people, not just for what they do, but for what they bring to the community and how they improve and interact, and, you know, what big a role they play in the community. You have from that to the fascinating healing benefits to this kind of magical marriage of, you know, folk magic remedies to this, spiritual religious belief, and, all of these things that are not necessarily the things you would naturally think would work well together, but somehow it works in this particular place with these people. And I think it's, like I said, I thought the film was really, really interesting and really, really, really informative.
Magic of Podlasie is this nice connection with the spirits. I did a little Google, and from my Google, it had this sense of history when it comes to Poland and maybe even a little bit of Russia. I think I picked up some Russian within this piece as well. Having a mix of insight of this pocket of the world and having this connection to the spiritual connection that can dive into folklore and mythology and spirituality, which connects with religion. And so you see these different relationships between humans and the sake of religion and beliefs and understanding of mystical beings and forces and the magic that comes from this atmosphere. You get a really nice scope of experiences and hearing from the people who practice and have learned of this cultural experience. This is something that is very connected to this universe. And so we sort of get a little bit of an insight as to the magic within.
This film was called Magic of Podlasie, Whishperes. This was a fascinating doc. I have heard of Whishperes before, but I had no idea about their process and the richness of their traditions. Not only was this film interesting, but it was also visually stunning. The close-up shots of the various rites with candles and other objects were beautifully captured. I also loved the drone footage of the area, gorgeous buildings, trees, animals, and sunlight. The rhythms and the minor choral keys of music under the action really heightened the mystical feel of the piece. The interviews of the medical anthropologist was well edited in with the people and ideas shown on screen. I also enjoyed how the film was totally open to ideas. It did not come off as judgmental, it was just observant. Excellent film.